This is my wife. This is Nita.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Hello, how are you? Hello, guys. Good to see you. That's really great. This is Nita. This is Kathy, Robert, Morris. He's friends with a friend of yours. Yeah. His best friend. Yeah. He's very happy. I didn't get to meet him. Yeah. So, baby, how are you doing? Kathy blew it all. She didn't make a big deal about it. She was there at the park. They can go right here. Take me the tag of the hack. Because I have such good experience. Yeah, okay. So you got a culture. Yeah. Sorry. Hey, how are you? I didn't recognize you. Slow your mind down. We should talk a little monsters. Buddy, how are you? How's retirement life? Yeah. We're back to play.
be seated. Welcome. My name is Bishop Sparrow. I'll be conducting today. I'd like to welcome President Kessinger from the state presidency on the stand. He will be presiding for this funeral service for Sally E. Jackson, born May 30th, 1950 in Portland, Oregon, and returned to our Heavenly Father on December 29th, 2022. We'll begin today by singing an opening song, I Know That My Redeemer Lives, on page number 136 in your hymn book, after which Marilyn Short will give us our invocation.
Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, as we gather here today to celebrate the life of Sally Jackson, our dear sister, mother, grandmother, and friend, we are so grateful for the many blessings that she's brought into our lives and for the opportunity we have to be here together as friends and family. We're grateful for the safety that thou hast afforded those who travel great distances this day. We're so grateful for the love and the companionship that we feel from our friends and family and the comfort which we receive. And we pray that thy Spirit will be with us today, especially those who are speaking. Be with us, guide us, direct us, and comfort us, we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Sister Short. It's been quite an honor watching Marilyn walk around the chapel and meet with old friends today. And I was honored when I was introduced to her, and as a veteran of the ward, that was quite a blessing for me. We will continue. We will have a live sketch, The Early Years, by BJ, Heather, and Vicky. After which we'll have a musical number, Oh My Father, by the children. And then we will have a midlife sketch by Rachel, Benjamin, and Mel. And then another musical number by Colleen Jackson. And we'll have a live sketch, The Later Years, by Brenda and Stacy. And then a musical number by the grandchildren. And we'll go to that point.
Well, I'm BJ Summers. I'm Sally's next sibling in line. I'm number 3. She was number 2. And at first I say it's a privilege to be here with you today. I have a great love and respect, and I think I could say this from all of my siblings on the Summer side. We have a great love and respect for the Jackson family. One of the things I think that I appreciate the most is your closeness. Well, I mean, you're all nice people anyway, but you really stay close to each other, and that's a wonderful thing, and it's something that I admire and respect. For my part, I'm going to try to just give a picture of the early years of Sally's life, and this was kind of a collaboration on Marilyn, between Marilyn and I. So if you need to do some fact checking, but as the bishop said, Sally was born Sarah Eleanor Summers. The Eleanor came from her grandmother, our father's mother. Sarah Eleanor Summers on Memorial Day, May 30th, 1950 in Portland, Oregon. And she was the daughter of Brad and Rachel Summers. And she came home to her grandfather, John Robert Summers, and an older sister, Marilyn. And since that time, Marilyn and Sally were really kind of a team. They sort of did everything together. They shared the number 1 position in the sibling pecking order. And I think all the rest of the kids would vouch for that. They shared the same bedroom. They shared, they did activities together. They worked on our small farm and did a good share of the housework in our home. We lived on a little farm in rural Oregon between the towns of Tualatin and Sherwood. In those days, it was out in the country. Now it's kind of part of Portland, but it was way out. It was a gravel road, maybe 10 cars a day would go by or something like that. We had, a pretty pretty simple life out there. We heated with wood and we raised our own animals and food and our grandfather, as I mentioned, lived with us and he always raised a beautiful garden every year. And in that garden we had enough food to eat, wonderful fruit, wonderful fresh fruit, and always plenty to can and put away for the winter. And canning was a yearly activity, and it was when the food came on, it was all hands on deck, and everybody helped out to prepare it. Sometimes we have a lot of extra food, and there was a little cannery nearby that we could take the food to, and we always seemed like we had a lot of corn. I remember one night shucking over 100 dozen ears of corn. That was everybody, of course, it was involved in that. One year, my parents, I guess, decided to, and grandfather planted a couple acres of cucumbers. We raised them for the pickle company, Libby's Pickle Company. And so we picked those one year. And I remember it being a drudgery. I don't know how everybody else saw it, but we never did it again. So I must have had a pretty accurate picture. But we did earn extra money that way, and we had berries, and we picked those, and we picked beans and all the produce that was there in the Willamette Valley, and we all, Sally and Marilyn and I, made extra money there. In fact, I guess Marilyn said that with the pickles, they made enough money to buy a bicycle between them. So, we had pigs and chickens and cows and looking back on it, it was a lot of work, but looking back on it, it was a pretty bucolic existence out there. We had a lot of freedom and just a lot of fun. And there were great places to play. We had a forested area and blackberry thickets and one year our dad said, "Hey, if you guys want to dig a hole, I'll make a swimming pool for you." And so we all went out there, particularly Marilyn, Sally, and started digging. And I think we dug for a few days, and I don't think we got too far. But my grandpa and my dad, they finished the hole up, and we had a little swimming pool out there, maybe 3 feet deep. But we had a great time in that and used it all through our childhood. Marilyn and Sally shared a lot of other things. She said they had some roller skates, and we had kind of a cement walk around that pool, and they could ride these roller skates around. They were the old style where you put it on over your shoe and kind of tighten the thing up and it held on. And then they had that bicycle, and our barn was like 10 acres south of the house, so there's a little road that went down there, and that's where we did a lot of our bike riding. Sally really loved music, and Marilyn and Sally took lessons from a lady in Tualatin, and sometimes they'd walk to the piano lesson. It was about 3 miles away, and they both played the trombone in the school band. Our grandpa that lived with us, and he was pretty hard of hearing when I was a young kid, and by the time I was 12, he couldn't hear anything. But he still loved music, and he could feel the rhythm of the instruments as we played. And so he bought instruments for us, the trombone and other things. And anyway, he kind of supported that. Then our dad built an organ one year from a kit. It came to the house in boxes, and he put this thing together, and it was an organ. So Marilyn and Sally, they played duets on the piano, but also on the organ and the piano. And Sally, actually, as you know, she got quite good on the piano, and she would always be the one who was playing and accompanying. Our mother used to put on big Christmas parties, and we'd sing Christmas carols and things, and Sally would play. They also, well, I'll say I have great memories of her playing. She played every day. You always hear Sally on the piano playing songs. I still remember some of the songs she played. And but also Marilyn Sally took home economics in high school. It was a real common course that all the girls took. Back when we had defined roles, gender roles. Anyway, but it taught. It was a great class. It'd probably be a good class for everybody. But it taught basic homemaking skills, and one of the things was sewing. And Sally also did quite well at that, and really took to it. And Marilyn said that Sally helped make the wedding dress for Marilyn's oldest daughter, Brianna, and then they worked together on other dresses for other siblings and nieces who got married. Our mom also decorated cakes, and I don't know where she learned. I think she figured it out on her own, but she was pretty good at it. And a lot of people would order cakes from her, and it was kind of a supplemental source of income for us. And that was another thing that Sally caught on to. And I think, as I was thinking about this, I didn't really think of Sally as having that artistic side, but her music and sewing and the cake decorating was really, I think, an outlet for the artistic side of her. One of my favorite memories, another thing, as far as Marilyn and Sally doing everything together, they wound up living here in Orfino together too, for a time. They also became hockey fans in high school, and they attended lots of hockey games in Portland with a couple of friends that they had. I don't know, that went on for a few years anyway. One of my favorite memories is going to the Idaho Falls Temple with Sally. I was going on a mission to Germany, and we both received our endowment the same day, and she was married later. And I had to, I don't know if you remember, but I had to take off down to the mission home, but you guys all went up to Alfred after that for the festivities there. I missed out on those. But, anyway, I have a lot of wonderful memories of Sally, and I just wanted to say that to all of her children and grandchildren, you're the legacy of her, and you always will be in my eyes. And I hope that if you're ever around in our area, you're always welcome in our home, and bring some of Sally back to us. And thank you.
While at Rick's, Mom was roommates with Aunt Alta. Aunt Alta is our dad's sister. Alta set Mom and Dad up for the winter formal. After the dance, Dad went in for a kiss and was told, "Not until we're married." And 3 months later, March 26, 1971, they were.
They spent their first summer in Cook City, Montana, where they bought our great-grandfather's guide service. They lived in a little house that we refer to as the milk house. And I think probably at one time it was the milk house. And they had a great time learning to run the business together. Dad and Mom then moved to Oregon that fall.
Heather was welcomed to the family in January of that year, the first of 8 children. They spent the winter in Oregon and returned to Montana in the spring, where they spent the next 5 summers running the guide service.
Mom would pack the family up in Belfry and move everyone to Cook City, and in the fall would move everyone back to Belfry. Each summer, there was a new addition to the family. Brent, Vicky, Stacy, and Brenda. Mom would even help our great uncle Bill, run the motel and the gas station during the summer months that they were up in Cook City.
After Brenda was born, Mom and Dad decided to sell the Skyline Guide Service and stay in Belfry year-round. With having 5 children in the family, Mom put her love of sewing to good use.
There were many Christmases that Mom was up until late, early mornings on Christmas Day, making and creating and sewing our Christmas dresses. Sewing became even more important when the last 3 children joined our family, Melanie, Benjamin, and Rachel.
Each summer for Belfry Pioneer Days, Mom would come up with a theme for our family to do in the parade. One year, we were cheerleaders. In fact, our school pictures, we all wore those shirts that my mom made and the skirts. And Brent was a football player.
The next year, she decided that we were going to be the old woman in the shoe.
So Heather was the old woman.
She made an old shoe, put it into the wagon, and if I remember right, I think
The little ones were in it.
yeah, I think Melanie and Brenda were in the wagon, and we were pulling the wagon, and yes, she made me the old woman.
And one year, we were all hobos. She tied little packs together, put them on a stick, and we walked through the parade.
As hobos.
It was lovely.
So of course, all of these outfits and all the accessories were made and created by Mom with great love.
To end the celebration, there was always a big talent show. And our mother was always a big part of that talent show and always signed us up. We would practice for months.
She would pick out a song, and that was the song that we were going to perform at the talent show. And she would play. That was her love of music coming out in her and sharing it with everyone.
In 1983, her strength was challenged when we lost our brother Brent.
And then 3 months later, our dad was in an accident. These trials strengthened her testimony in Jesus Christ and gave her a stronger love of the gospel. I remember her telling us, and it's probably not even telling us, probably overhearing her tell our family that the hardest thing, and that something that should never happen, is having a child pass away before the parent. And I just remember that being such a strong sentiment that she stated and was really strong about that she should have passed away before her son.
To help support her family, she was a stay-at-home, and she was there for us. Her goal was to be there when we woke up, and she would send us to school, and then she would go to work. She would play the piano at the high school, and then she would make sure that she was home, so that when we came home, she was the first one there.
So part of some of the part-time jobs that she had was she would actually help hoe the beet fields. And yeah, Dad and Mom would take us all out there in the middle of the day, and we would hoe those beet fields. And the other thing that she did is she actually drove one of the beet dump trucks from the field to the conveyor belt where they would load the beets and take them to the sugar plant.
One of my favorite memories when we were that age and we were going to school was that she had to get up really early and be gone. But my dad had been hurt, so he was there with us. And he would do our hair. And when Mom would come home, she was just mortified that we went to school looking like that. But he did really good.
She became active in our high school music program when Vicki and I entered middle school. This allowed her to share more her love of music with just not only the Belgrade community, but across the state of Montana. Mom accompanied many of the students in Belgrade for instrument and vocal.
We have some comments that some of these wonderful youth at that time sent to us just about our mom that we wanted to share.
So she was a beloved, sweet, amazing woman. We had another comment that came in that said that she taught this person how to be gracious. My mom was always a very gracious person. So one of my, and it's not so much yeah, it is my memory. So no, it is. So when I got married, her dream was to sew each one of her daughter's wedding dresses. I actually found a wedding dress that I very much wanted in the store. And she was with me, and she kept on, Mom, Heather, I can sew that. And at the time, they were fully running the bakery, and I'm going, Mom, you don't have time. And she goes, Heather, I can do it. So we went to Portland, and she bought the material, and she brought it home. And my dad was standing there when we got home, and he happens to walk by me. He said, Heather, she doesn't have time to do this. She can't do this. And I looked at him and I said, are you going to be the one that tells her that she cannot sew my wedding dress? Because it's not going to come from me. So another one is Madison was, when she was in elementary school, she had a Christmas program and she wanted a Christmas dress. So I told her, I go, you know, if you want, go and ask Grandma if she would sew you a Christmas dress. So they made a trip down to Lewiston. They picked out the pattern, picked out the material, and together, and she sewed Madison the most beautiful Christmas dress. And to this day, that is the only dress that she will not let go to her younger nieces. That dress is hanging in my closet, and that was the dress. No, Mom, they can't have it.
One of my favorite memories, or one of the life lessons that my mom taught me, was that basically if there's a will, there's a way. My mom would make, if there was a need or a want, my mom always made it happen. When I was in high school, I went with my friends to the mall to pick out a prom dress, and they were very costly. And my mom said, well, let's get in the car and let's go down there and we'll look at it. And so she came down and she looked at that dress and she said, oh yeah, that's easy, we can make this. And she did. And it was beautiful. It was even better than the dress in the store. And that she did that twice for me. And I thought that was just her way of showing that she loved us and that if there is a will, there is a way. And she always made it happen.
In the spring of 1992, the family went to Spokane to celebrate Easter with her sister Marilyn and their family. While there, Mom, Dad, Marilyn, and Ray went to Orofino to look at some property that they were interested in buying. Mom and Dad thought a change of scenery would be good for the family and decided to move to Orofino as well.
Later that summer, we were traveling home from the family, decided, we'd gone to a summer's family reunion up in Lake Ponderay, and they decided to come this way back home. As we were waiting, Daddy decided to get his hair cut, and just around the corner from the barber shop, there was a for sale sign in Jean's Bakery. As soon as he saw that, he knew that this is what they needed to do, and he needed to buy that bakery for Mom to decorate her beautiful cakes.
Then Mom began working with Clint Stuffing, the owner of Jean's Bakery, before purchasing it and changing the name to Clearwater Bakery, which became a very huge part of our growing up. We worked a lot at the bakery. We had good times there, but still through all the work, Mom was able to come to our extracurricular activities. Thanks to good friends here in the ward, we would participate in sports such as football, basketball, track, and her good friends would take her along with her to our different track meets and extracurricular activities.
I was super happy that Piper was my age, and so Ramona, who we love dearly, took our mom with us to every single game. So as long as I was in the same sport as Piper, my mom was there yelling and cheering us on. I have a huge love for volleyball, and it's really funny because she was always there, and she was very real. She'd be like, "Rachel, that was a great game. I think you could have done better." But she was always there to support me, and I really remember that, and I hope to pass that on to my lovely daughter, Rory, and I'm pretty sure she gets that from me.
For any holiday, there came sugar cookies that had to be decorated. Before we were able to go out with any of our friends or do anything extra, there were dozens of cookies to be decorated. Luckily, we all had
Good friends.
that came and helped us.
There were a few not allowed to help decorate.
Some of them helped more than others, but Mom was always there to teach them how to do it.
They owned the bakery for 15 years before selling it, and after the bakery, she worked at a few other jobs, such as Ace Hardware here in town, and she continued to build relationships and friendships with those who she was able to help there. And one of the other jobs that she had was working on the school bus, and it was a job that she absolutely loved. She, anytime we would talk to her, she would mention the kids on the bus, and she was just so grateful to be able to help them in that capacity.
Once I got my driver's license, I then became one of the bakery delivery down to Kamei and back. Sometimes during school, she'd ask if I wanted to skip school and help her because she was too tired to drive.
Which is very unfair. I never got that option.
She would fall asleep as soon as we hit the bridge and not wake up until our first stop in Kamei, which apparently took way less time than what she would expect.
I know that when I got my driver's license, my goal was to put the speed control, the cruise control at 60 and see if I could make it down there without touching my brakes. Woke her up a few times, but that's okay. my biggest memories is in the summer, doing the cami. Once Melanie was gone, it was then my turn that I got to take mom down to cami and to do all those deliveries. We loved pickles, absolutely loved baby dill pickles. And sometimes that's all we would get for lunch. We'd go to the grocery store, find a small jar of baby dill pickles, and that's what we would eat on the way home. One of her other favorite things is we would stop at Colonel's Sandwich Shop and ice cream. And mom loved Spumoni ice cream. It's a whole bunch of flavors that should not be mixed together. That was the one that we would always stop, and I'd always tease her. I said, Mom, it's Spumoni for a reason.
Later on in life, as she became kind of harder to see, I had the honor and privilege of driving mom and dad to Seattle this past April, and there wasn't a speed limit sign that she did not see. She had to constantly remind, well, it's 65 here, oh, it's only 45 here. Like, how did you even see that? So I must have not been going fast enough. But I really did struggle to find a good memory of my mom. Not that there wasn't any, there was just so many. The biggest thing was family. She loved her family and she was grateful for them. A quick couple of things from my family. Allie liked watching the Game Show Network. Grandma loved the Game Show Network. And Allie loved watching Family Feud and America Says. Grandma, she loved her grandkids, especially the new babies. And with us having the youngest, she would always say, how's that right, girl? And, she loved all of her grandkids, but the babies held a special place in her heart. Karen and Kaya, they liked going to mom's room before they extended their wall, and she would tell them that there's a lot of coins on the ground. Whatever you can find, you can keep. That kept them busy for several hours. Mom, she also had a lot of little trinkets that she loved to share. She had the little Avon lotions and the little chapsticks that she'd always have ready to share with those kids as they came to go visit her. The one thing that they really liked was the scented hand sanitizer because it smelled really good. My mom, she worked really hard, like you've already heard. When I was 8 years old, I had participated in what they call the Odyssey of the Mind, and our team had won an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. And when we were 8 years old, we didn't have a lot of money, but she worked hard to help us out. And one of the things I remember a lot is she made suckers, and we sold these suckers, and hundreds and hundreds of suckers were made and sold, and grateful for her hard work in doing that. She never told us, this is impossible to do. She always said, let's make it happen. And I'm truly grateful for her for that.
One of my favorite things is the wedding dresses, definitely. So she made my wedding dress, and I think my most favorite thing that she did is she always bought extra fabric for all of our wedding dresses, and she would keep it. And she had it labeled, because I remember when I was looking through, it said Rachel's wedding dress. And then she would actually make our blessing dresses for our children. And so Rory's blessing dress is modeled just like my wedding dress. Aunt Marilyn helped be my wedding dress, and Aunt Marilyn helped be that little baby blessing dress. And I loved it, and it was my favorite. When I was younger, there was fabric, and it was called Daisy Kingdom. Okay, so the girliest thing you could have ever possibly imagined. And they had these great big full skirts, and they have these big flower patterns around the bottom of them, and I loved Daisy Kingdom. And it was not inexpensive by any means. And Mom, I think I had 4 Daisy Kingdom dresses because Mom would find it on sale and she made sure to buy and make those dresses for me. And they were my absolute favorite dresses.
Not only did we have to decorate cookies, but Mom loved to get her grandchildren in the bakery and along the bench and decorate Christmas cookies every single year. Mom had a great sense of humor. Her and Doug would banter back and forth all the time and just make each other laugh and laugh and laugh. Her sense of humor, I think, has come out in so many of us, and I think she got that from Grandpa Summers. She not only shared her talents with her family, but with also her community. She got multiple Best of Show ribbons in the bakery, in the Clearwater Fair. And Megan remembers how she taught the young women how to sew PJ pants, and she disagreed with the girls putting handprints on their booties. This was a skill that she tried to pass on to us, and I do emphasize tried.
She loved sharing her talents of playing the piano from an early age. She played the piano for primary and continued for many, many years. She also accompanied the school choirs and soloists at the music festival. And as like Heather and Vicki had said, that she had an impression on a lot of those students that she was able to work with. And she loved music, and we often got played to bed. She would play music when we were ready to go to bed, and she'd be practicing her different solo pieces. And we grew up with that love of music.
We also were all very much encouraged to play instruments as well. Every single one of us played in the band, clear up into Melanie. I had to play until my senior year, and then I tried to switch to choir, but I was not a big fan of the music teacher, nor was he a big fan of me. So my mom was like, fine, you can drop out. I do remember she was so super upset with me.
She was upset at both Daddy and I when I had him sign me out of band the second semester of my senior year. Just to be able to work in the bakery with them the last hour of every day.
That is what we listened to almost every night when we were growing up. Quinn, thank you so much.
Mom would play us to sleep at night. She would put us all to bed when we were younger, and upstairs she had the piano, and she would play the piano. She would practice whatever she felt like. There's always one song, when there's a grouping of songs, there's one type of song called an adagio, and there's an adagio in the back of the primary book. For some reason, that's the adagios. I think it's because she normally